A few years ago, we started hearing about how sitting was bad for us, even comparing it to smoking. And truthfully, sitting is its own problem and deserves its own category. It isn't just a lack of burning calories problem. It's so much more than that. And I want to explain that to you now. Hi, my name is Alana. I am a fitness coach specializing in strength, as well as the author of Strength Training Over 40. I've lived in Mexico since October 2022. So let's take a dive into what sitting too much does to our bodies. Number one, it's bad for posture. Slouching forward over laptops and phones and gaming, it's not just bad posture. It leads to spinal stress and muscle loss. Your back can begin to curve, and your neck flexors often become long and weak, and neck extensors tighten. You develop that dreaded head forward posture, rounded shoulders, and a kyphotic upper back. This posture is often caused by staring at a computer monitor or phone for extended periods of time, and this posture can lead to decreased range of motion, disc degeneration, nerve compression, neck and back pain, headaches, and even reduced lung capacity. Number two, it weakens our bones. In addition to bad posture, we've talked about this before, extensive sitting and inactivity can lead to bone loss, significantly weakening our bones and even contributing to osteoporosis, making us much more susceptible to fractures. And we do not want to fracture. It slows down our brain. Less movement equals less oxygen and blood to our brain. And that means more brain fog, more sluggish thinking, and a higher risk of depression even. And I've talked about BDNF in previous videos. It's a protein that plays a crucial role in the development and survival and function of the brain. Sitting for long, inactive periods of time shuts that off. Prolonged sitting destroys metabolic health. This is the big one. Long sitting not only promotes muscle loss, without any sort of demand, the muscle has no reason to take up the glucose from our bloodstream. Our entire body gets weaker, but we've talked at length about the importance of maintaining and strengthening our muscle mass for so many reasons. But here's another reason. When we contract our muscles, whether walking or using isometric holds, such as wall sits or lifting heavy weights, those muscles need energy. And the main source of energy for muscles is glucose from our blood. The more muscle contractions, the more glucose they pull in, helping lower blood sugar levels and keeping the pancreas and insulin working efficiently. It's about moving your big muscle groups often. The experts suggest 5 minutes every hour, and I think that's a fairly good estimate, but I'd be trying to push it to the limits. Here's what's important. You could be a dedicated beast in the gym, but if you're sitting most of the day, it's still hurting your body. The fix isn't complicated. We just need to move more during the course of that time that we're sitting. It's not about calorie burning. I'm talking about metabolic health, which will affect our long-term ability to become more metabolically efficient. We've talked about the fact that sitting for prolonged periods of time regularly can lead to insulin resistance, prediabetes, and full-on type 2 diabetes. But guess what? It can also lead to some forms of cancer. Now, cancer should have its own heading here, but because it's so closely related to muscle inactivity, I'm placing it under the metabolic dysfunction heading. You'll find that most articles you'll read or videos you might have watched explain that prolonged sitting can lead to diabetes and cancer. But I wanted to know why, so as I tend to do, I researched it. So this is what I found. What I learned is that the main types of cancer associating with prolonged sitting are colorectal, endometrial, which is your uterine, and lung. Research suggests that for every 2-hour increase in sedentary time per day, the risk of colon cancer increases by 8% and the risk of endometrial cancer by 10%. And interestingly, cancers caused by insulin resistance are also colorectal and endometrial, but with the addition of liver and pancreatic. Insulin itself can promote cell proliferation and inhibit cell death. These are both key factors in the development of cancer. So it isn't just the glucose, it's the whole metabolic environment that changes with insulin resistance and diabetes. The bottom line is we can't out-exercise sitting for long periods, just as we can't out-exercise a poor diet. But there is a tiny bit of good news for those who have been strength training and are building muscle. Studies show that having a good amount of muscle on our bodies can help mitigate some of the negative effects of prolonged sitting, just because muscles help boost our metabolism, blood flow, overall physical function. But this will only help you to a point. We still need to decide to get up and move at least once an hour. Every time we choose to move with intention throughout the day, we age far better. Now that you understand implicitly how important it is not to sit for long periods, what should I be doing, you might ask? Here are the best moves and make them work for you. So let's go. Hi, so I'm just home from the gym and I thought I would show you these exercises now. So I'm still in my gym gear, but I thought that would be a good idea because then you can see what all parts of my body are doing. So we're going to start first with the wall squat or wall sit. And this is going to use muscles in your glutes and your quads, two large muscle groups. And that's what we want to do. Let's not do any stretching. That does not uptake the glucose from your bloodstream. We really need to be contracting those muscles, and a good isometric hold involving the larger muscles is wonderful for that. So a wall sit will look like this. You can do it with your legs together. Say if you have a dress or a skirt on and you'd rather, have your legs together like this, you can do that. But you want to try to get down as close to 90 degrees as possible. At first, you might not be able to do that, but then we want to time ourselves if possible. You have your phone on hand, and you can increase that time as the weeks go by. So you probably want to shoot for a minute, but it's not easy, and you're going to feel those muscles burning, but just do your best and kind of keep a mental note or even jot it down somewhere. And you'll be amazed at how time will increase. Okay, so the next exercise that we want to do are calf raises. Now, our calves are very important because many of us, as we age, we lose that mind-muscle connection with our calves. It's astonishing, actually, how many women I've worked with that have completely lost that connection. They couldn't go up on their toes, and men as well. So we need to keep that muscle connection going because the calf muscles act as a pump to get that blood up your legs and towards your heart. So how that would look is just, you can have your feet facing just forward and you're going up on your toes. Don't use a wall, up on your toes. And you can point your toes out a little bit and you'll target those calves a little differently. And pardon my flip-flops. I live in flip-flops when I don't have my gym running shoes on. And just a reminder, I'm here in Mexico. Those are calf raises. Maybe start with doing 10 and then again over time increase. But you're going to want to do all of these exercises that I show you within a 5-minute period. And so we don't need to do, a whole bunch of sets and reps of everything. So another good exercise to do is squats to a chair. This is so important. And we do this a lot in the gym. We use a bench. And so if you can do it, if you can squat down without completely allowing your body to rest onto that chair, great. If you have to sit down each time, that's fine too. Do whatever you can. So basically, you can get your arms in the action there. And if you can, if that is just too easy for you, let's do one leg at a time. And I'm going to get rid of the flip-flops for this. So one leg at a time would just look like that. It's also fabulous for our balance. And make sure you switch. If you're doing 10 on one side, do 10 on the other side. Okay, so you probably heard that my chair was trying to move. You might want to push it up against a wall or your desk or something like that. But that's the chair squat. So speaking of standing on one foot, we really do want to practice as many things as possible on one foot. If we're washing the dishes, brushing our teeth, we want to try to remember to stand on one foot and then halfway through switch feet. We tend to, as a population, be very weak in our hip stabilizers, and standing on one foot without sort of letting it pop out to the side will really help with your hip stabilizer strength. And that's so important. But practice. And the other thing is, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, if you're putting on your shoes, try not to sit down. If you, I wish I had a running shoe close by, but anyway, you can stand on one foot, put on your sock, put on your shoe. If you have your, make it so that you can reach, do it up, put it down, and do the other one. If you're having difficulty doing that, stand near a wall. And in case you lose your balance, you'll have something to catch you. And then you can inch yourself away from the wall as time goes on. And the same with putting on pants. We don't need to sit down for that, okay? I'm a real proponent of continuing to do the things we've always done, because our bodies will take the path of least resistance, and we have to consciously force ourselves. At least that's my way of thinking. Doing a push-up from your desk or a countertop, and make sure it's really stable. It's not going to scooch away from you, but you can do that. If you can do push-ups on the floor and you're in a situation where you can get down on the floor, do that too. So I'd really encourage you, if at all possible, to get yourselves a resistance band, at least one. You can get these, they come in sets. The red that comes in the set is the weakest. You can find them on Amazon for sure. And what we're going to do to counteract that rounding forward are called band pull-aparts. You can either double it up as I have done, or you can just use the single, and depending on how strong you are. And we want to pull that apart and really squeeze our shoulder blades together. Arms are straight and parallel to the floor as we pull them apart. And this is one of the best exercises I know to counteract that upper back rounding. Okay, so band pull aparts. This is a really handy little tool to keep in your desk if you're at an office, or just to have around the house, because there are so many things you can do with resistance bands, and I'm happy to do a video on full body workout with resistance bands. Let me know if you'd like that in the comments. The last thing that I want to do is just go into this posture of extension. When we're sitting for long periods of time, and I've talked about this before, being in this flexion position, this arm forward position, as we are most of the day, driving, reading, crafting, gaming, on the computer. We're just constantly with our arms forward, and we need to counteract that, whether we're sitting for long periods or not. But especially if we're sitting, we want to go into extension, which is utilizing all the posterior chain of muscles and opening up your chest, contract your glutes, feel like your abs are being pulled upward, and just breathe and hold. And you might want to sort of move your arms around till you find a spot that is particularly tight. And I tend to do this a lot in the evening. So those are some exercises that you can do easily within 5 minutes of each hour. Please get up and move. This is so, so important. Remember, we can't out exercise long sitting. Even if we go to the gym 5 days a week for an hour each time, if we're the rest of the time sitting, we can't out exercise that. So we must keep getting up. And this is a reminder to myself as well. I know it's not easy. I know you get involved in a project and you just want to get it done. But do yourself a favor and get up once an hour for 5 minutes, and your body will thank you. Okay, adios for now. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.